Action!
Russian by birth, Kenyan by blood, known to dance like a prima tease from Meru. The only director to travel to Cannes, broke as a joke, but still bagged 58 awards. Ladies and gentlemen, Likarion Wainaina. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So let me ask a question.
Yeah.
Do you think we have an industry?
That's a tricky question. I think I don't think we have a film industry.
Okay.
I think we have a TV industry. I think we have a film scene.
Okay.
An industry is supposed to support the people in it and make a living just through that one section of the industry. And there aren't a lot of filmmakers who are just earning purely from making films, you know. But in TV, I think there's a bit more leeway, more flexibility because there's a bit of diversity.
Okay.
We have cable network, we have streaming platforms. All of that is classified under TV. Commercials is also part of TV. So there are people like myself who earn a living through that. But film, I think, still has a long way.
How long have you been doing this?
I have no idea. It's been so long.
It's been too long.
I made my first film in 2007.
Okay.
I got into the industry officially as a director in 2012.
Officially as a director?
Yes. Before that, I was just doing short films with my friends, volunteering on sets, running cables. I did a stint as a boom operator. I respect them now more than ever. It was all to just be able to prepare myself to be the ultimate director.
Okay.
By volunteering in every department that I could find. So I always say 2012 is the first time where I officially stepped into the industry as a director, made a short film that was nominated for a few awards, and that got me into the commercial space of TV.
Okay. From the word go, did you know you wanted to be in this scene?
I always wanted to be in film. I had 3 careers on standby. It was film, a chef, or some scientist.
A chef.
Yes. My mom was a caterer and a chef, so that was my safety. I was like, at least everything I've picked up from my mom,
Yes.
kakiumana. Industry kakiumana. Bado I'm still on that standby mode. No industry is safe, so kakiumana, I'll just go cook.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've always wanted to be in film, mainly because of my dad.
Okay.
My dad, and that's the importance of having a parent who's into the arts. He used to organize movie nights from when I was a kid. And he wasn't just bringing safe movies. I was introduced to movies like horror movies, like Friday the 13th when I was like 3-4 years old. We were watching movies like James Bond, Moonraker, and Children of the Corn.
Yeah.
So I've always we didn't have any limits. I used to hear other kids say, Dad amefungia TV. I'm like, how does that feel? Us, the TV is always there, because my dad was like, for you to be able to understand other cultures, you need to take in their content. So that always made me feel like, okay, I want to be in film. When I used to live in Kibera, Watoto Kaini Chini Cinema was the place to be. Yes. Every Saturday from morning till usiku, 8. I go home, ni chapwe na mam juu ya kukosa kwa nyumbani. Next week we do it
again.
All over again. But until when I dropped out of high school is when I really felt like, okay, I need papers to be in film. And so there was a long period of 4 years where I was just a wanderer until I did my first short film as an actor, which was in a long time ago. There's a school called Morphos, Mohammed Amin Foundation.
Yes.
I really wanted to attend that school. When I was in high school. That's the school I wanted to apply to. So they had auditions for short films. They wanted an actor. I went. I got the lead role. Then on set, I was like, I'm watching them. I was like, I think I can do this.
Yeah.
So I went home, started calling the director, I heard you say white balance. What's that? Write it down. Then a few weeks later, I did my first short film, and I have never stopped.
It's interesting because I've realized that majority of the people we have in our industry have not studied for film.
Yeah.
So is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's twofold, because you see, with education, I feel like maybe the journey is shorter, because there's so many things that I had to do practically over and over again just to figure out one thing.
Yeah.
Where one semester or one lecture would have explained everything perfectly for me.
Yes.
So, but then also being on the ground means that you have a realistic approach to filmmaking.
Yes.
I feel like theory is all about the dreaming and the what ifs, but when you're on the ground working and building your craft, there's nothing that can compare to that. It's a fine balance.
What have you done to contribute to the growth of our industry or our scene?
I try not to put pressure on myself to run the industry.
Not running it.
Contribute.
Adding value, yes.
I think every day that I decide to do a master class or teach is my contribution, because I shouldn't be saying this.
But
hey, I'm not. I find it very tough to teach because, again, no one taught me.
Yeah.
So I flowed with my own style, and so having to be able to pen my style into a curriculum that other students can digest is it gives me pressure.
Yeah.
You feel like a parent. Like if you mislead these kids, you've ruined their entire career if you're not careful. Yeah. So for me, my contribution is the master classes that I do. I have done several independent master classes with Melissa Kiplagat, the master classes, and then I am a lecturer at MTF. This year is going to be my second year. So proud of my students. We did a few weeks of directing, and so that's my contribution to the industry. My production house, we have a independent production house called Kibanda Pictures, where we try and bring in new talent, not only just for crew but also actors. I think that's the best contribution you can ever do for starters.
Okay.
Yes.
What is your creative process as a director?
It depends with the project.
Okay.
If it's a project that I control, like maybe I'm producing it, then my process is different from when I'm employed by someone and they have a set vision and I just have to come and implement it.
Okay.
So if it's my own project, first things first is I picture the trailer.
Oh, that's where you start.
That's where I start. Like if I'm given an idea or I come up with an idea, the first thing I do is how does a trailer look like? Because a trailer is all the best bits.
Yes.
All the right information that the audience needs to know to be intrigued. So first things first, I picture my trailer. I identify the major moments, and if it looks good as a trailer, then I'll go and flesh it out. After that, treatments. People always think, directing is premieres, and red carpet. 80% of directing is making pitch decks. Treatments and mood boards. That's the entire lifespan of a director.
Yeah.
So my next step is always putting down a treatment or a pitch deck, where I put down the summary of the story that I want to do, what my thoughts are, how I envision the production design, any information that I feel is necessary for someone to understand what I'm going to do. Because directing is all about communicating your vision. I mean, you have the best job in the world. Our job is to sleep, dream up something, and then tell people, this is what I dreamt. So a treatment is just my dreams on paper.
Yeah.
And so that's the first thing I do. Share it with the producers, share it with my friends, share it with the crew, with the cast. And then from there now we build it together. And from there now I welcome their vision. It's not enough for you to just have, I mean, we're not gods.
Yeah.
There's some divinity in directing, but we cannot see everything. So the next creative process is, what do you think of the treatment that I've given you? Okay. Did you feel the vision, or are there things that I feel are lost here that didn't end up here? Yes.
So far, what are the challenges you faced as a director?
I think time.
Time,
which also equates to money.
To money, of course.
We have a very quick turnaround for projects. Too quick.
Yeah.
When you share it with other people in other industries or other countries, you tell them a process, they're like, are you guys okay? Like, how do you do 22 pages in a day? and then tomorrow you're still waking up at 4:30 to continue. I wish I had time. I think for me, if we had, and you can always tell projects that had time, and projects that did.
That didn't have time.
The line is very straight in the ground. A show like Crime and Justice, we do 5-6 pages a day.
Oh, wow.
On average. And so you have time to really perfect everything so that everything that gets on screen is purposeful. As compared to another show that I cannot mention where the average is 22, you cannot expect the same quality. There will always be some compromises, or there will always be always playing safe. You will always play safe when you don't have time.
Yeah.
And that's why most of our shows look the same. Because it's, I only have time for a wide and 2 covers. And then we move on. So the best contribution I can do is perfect the performances. And move on. And slowly by slowly, I'm winning that battle and getting more and more time to, and showing our clients that give us time, we'll give you magic.
Give you magic.
Yes.
So where do you think the problem comes from when it comes to time? Is it what wanapeangwa short notice, ama ni what gets approved at the wrong time?
It's plain and simple. It's if budgets are increased, then we can be able to spend more time. I think also the debate we're having is, should we have fewer good shows or a lot of mediocre shows? That's a major compromise that every broadcaster, streaming platform has to decide.
There's also something that I noticed. You find that on our screens we have very poorly done shows, but they have this huge following, and yet some really well done shows have very small following. Nini, what's the problem? Because as much as we are talking about quality over quantity, but pia unapata the quantity bit is sort of winning. Is it our audience who prefer, just story ni story, wanafuata story?
The beauty of diversity is you will have small chunks of followers. Not everyone loves horror films.
True.
Horror films rarely ever make. They always make consistent money, but they always have to be low budget to make money. So it's very tricky for a horror film to make $1 billion at the box office. But they have consistent followers. They have very loyal followers, as opposed to Marvel movies or comic movies that the quality has been lowering over time, but the money is still there. We're still going to watch. It's the balance between, yes, we have these rushed shows that have audience members. Rushed shows doesn't mean a bad show, but also we shouldn't ignore the small chunks of Nani, because if we combine all those chunks, we have something. And that's the thing about broadcasters. And it's not their fault in terms of budgets, because the numbers, the numbers speaks for themselves. I mean, Likarion, you're coming to tell us to do like a high-end show, and your numbers are this small, where a rushed show has this number. So it's them to decide. They cannot also allocate massive for small audience members. So even them, the broadcasters and all these platforms, they have a challenge to do.
What can we do to increase the culture, or rather encourage the culture of us appreciating our own?
Certain channels that need to be set up.
Okay.
For example, implementing the 60% rule of local content being, content in your platform being 60%. Enforcing it hard. Or maybe increasing it. That's another thing. But also just being patient. Time always, a few years ago, we used to make one feature film a year.
True.
This week alone, as we're recording this, there are 2 or 3 premieres happening. And they're all feature films, and some of them are the independent series. So the more you have content, and that's where Nigeria started. I mean, Nigerians, there was a time when they didn't have numbers. And everyone used to shun them. Like, oh, the quality sucks. And we used to make so much fun for them, at them. But what they did was consistency.
That's true.
They had consistent content. And once you surround and engulf your audience members with local content, where everywhere they turn, it's local. They have no choice but to be like, okay, let's put a magnifying glass on this.
You are a director, you've been a producer, you've been an actor. Which of the 3 is the heaviest heart?
All of them. You see, all of them tap into different sections of myself. I think acting drains me, or at least it used to when I used to act, because it was, you're tapping into your own personal life. Directing is the fine balance between logic and expression, where you can't just, as an actor, I just express, and then someone will tell me, put it down or put it in this box. Directing is you are your own police. You express, then you break it down to logic and convert it for the crew members to implement. And then producing is cattle rustling. Producing, it's just everyone is moving and it's just like,
The song of
lighting.
see.
Mumevunja hii.
Wow.
Oh no, you can't quote this.
Yeah.
So it's producing it's being a psychologist
Yeah.
and implementing logic in your approach and staying sane because no one trusts a producer who breaks down. So I think producing, it needs a special skill. And then also with producing, in terms of the hierarchy, you have no one else to cry to.
Ni wewe na wewe peke.
I mean, you know, as an actor, they will cry to the director. The director will cry to the producer. Who does the producer cry to? They cry to other producers, and then the other producers tell them problems that they have that are bigger than your own. So you go to your corner and just cry to yourself.
Where do you see your career in the next 3 years?
So I really want to do content that is diverse.
Okay.
I don't want to be doing the same thing. One, I really want to establish our company, Kibanda Pictures, as the go-to for artistic content. I really want my company and my name to be attached to projects that people know you will not be let down. For me, you see the niche market you're talking about? Those are my audience.
Yeah.
And if I can just grab them, then I'm happy.
There's someone at home, obviously, who's watching this and they're thinking, nataka kuingia kwa hii industry, nataka kuingia kwa hii scene. What would you advise them just before they walk, or rather, they come into this industry?
Don't expect to be handed out anything. There are no handouts in the industry. But also pave your own way.
Okay.
I feel as an artist, you can't be passive. Just the fact that you're putting yourself out there is a risk in itself.
Yeah.
So if you're going to risk it to put your face or your talent on the line, you might as well go full hard.
Yeah.
So I would say pave your own way. Right now, this isn't the age that we're living in. It's not like the age where we were when we were younger. I just felt old just saying that statement. That's why I signed. Back then, we didn't have access to internet.
Yes.
I mean, just you had to go to a cyber cafe, 40 cents per minute, just to be able to watch a video.
Yeah.
Right now, you can do a TikTok video and be the biggest star in Kenya. You know, you can do. There's some guys I saw who do drone shots of Kenya. Just that already you've gotten jobs, because I'm like, I want to work with these people who do that. So a lot of people are afraid of internet. I say this is the age for that, you know.
Yeah.
And also this is the age for acquiring knowledge. Mom and dad, they know a lot, but Google knows everything. Use the resources that you have. Right now we have AI helping filmmakers create projects that they would never ever achieve. Do something and put it out there. That's the best way to get in, because right now the industry is very close knit. You know, I mean, I work with people that I know I can trust, so it's very difficult for me to get access to new people. But I remember even one of the cast members, one of the actors we cast in our show, there's a young girl who used to just do monologues and put them online. Like ilifikia casting director, and he was like, "Hey, Likarion, check this out." We're like, bring her in.
Yes.
You know, otherwise, if it wasn't for the internet and that connection, I would never meet this lady at all. And right now, she's doing very, very well.
As a director, are you involved in casting?
100%.
100%.
Yes.
So what do you look for when you're casting?
First things first, I do not look for talent. Talent is the last thing that I look for.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't believe that, but for me, I go with the relationship.
Okay.
I don't care how talented Denzel is. If his attitude doesn't work with mine, then I'm not going to work with him.
Okay.
A director is what's it called? I don't know. He's a polygamist. You have several marriages on set, and the first one is with your actor. You know, we have to bond with them. Then I have to bond with my DOP and my production designer. They have to understand my heart and my vision. And so if I'm casting, I want to bond with someone. That's why, you know, people always complain, oh, you always work with the same actors. But our marriage is beautiful. They understand me. And I understand them. That's it. Number two, of course, it's a script. the script is what determines who I will cast.
Okay.
No matter how much I want to push my friend, if the script does not fit you, my brother, my sister,
I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. Me, I am a slave to the story. If the
Yeah.
story tells me you cannot do this, I'm not doing it. And so it's when we go with that angle, you open up your minds. You never know what you will find. And that's the attitude we did with our last production, where we were like, we have these set characters that we're looking for. I have specific actors for specific roles.
Yeah.
That's okay. In my mind, people I've worked with before, they are my safety.
Yeah.
Let's keep it open. What is the story telling us? And I remember there was this lady who came in and she did one of our pieces and we nearly changed the entire story.
Wow.
Right there. Like, we didn't even have notes. We were like, could you just step out?
Yeah.
We talk. We're like, Ama, we change the character. Okay, how do we? Because our communication was perfect.
Yes.
We had good chemistry.
Yeah.
Her taking direction was amazing.
Yeah.
And just the marriage felt natural. We're like, we cannot let this go to waste.
Yes.
We actually flipped the gender for one of the roles in our production for her. We were like, we love this marriage that we're feeling. We'd like to keep it. So that's the whole guidance of the story and marriage together. Then you're good to go.
So have you ever had the I've made it moment in your career?
The last production I've done.
Yeah.
The one that's about to premiere this year.
Yeah.
I'm nervous about it.
Yeah.
But because it feels like a milestone. Because it's the kind of show that I've always wanted to make.
Yes.
And it's a first for Kenya.
Yeah.
And to be honest, whether the audience like it or not, I love it.
Yeah.
And it's a milestone for me because this is the whole reason why I got into TV. I wanted to do TV shows that feel like cinema.
Yes.
And that were a different genre. I can say it's very claustrophobic.
Okay.
I can say we built a very unique set that's never been built in Kenya.
Okay.
I can say we built Kenya's, I think it's a first or one of the first multi-storied sets. So we had another floor on top.
Okay.
I can say it's one of the most compact shows in Kenya. Expect to root for certain characters and hate other characters. That's all I can say.
Is there a secret to success in our industry or rather in this scene?
Nope.
Yeah.
Other people make consistent content that is artistic and get 100 views per video.
Yeah.
Someone dances on TikTok and they become ambassadors.
Yeah.
If it is your time, it is your time.
It is your time.
And that's the thing about art. You never know. You never truly know what will resonate with the audience. There's a time when everyone thought, comic book movies. And then someone released a movie that was worth like a low budget $10 million movie. And it beat all these other films.
Yeah.
If it's your time, it's your time. You know, art is subjective.
Yeah.
And you don't know what people are going through. I mean, films that were released in during the pandemic had a certain style and influence that resonated for people in that time.
Yeah.
You do that same film now, nothing. Even if it made $1 billion then. And that's what people have been trying to chase.
Yeah.
You're trying to chase a trend that you'll never catch up on.
And not every history is going to repeat itself.
Exactly. So the best gauge of success in life, whichever industry, doesn't matter if it's film, it's yourself.
Yeah.
Are you fulfilled or not? For me, I am my biggest critic and I am my biggest cheerleader. Okay. No one can diss my projects more than me, and no one can celebrate my projects more than me. Like, do you celebrate your what you consider wins, and do you criticize yourself enough to be better than your last production? That's the best one.
All right. So we have a tradition here.
Oh gosh, I hope it's not dancing because. Sure. Someone said I look like a drunk praying mantis when I dance. I didn't. And then he said I look like a drunk praying mantis who's Meru. I don't understand that last bit, but in your heart, you know yourself. You know yourself.
So we have a box here. In this box, there are questions. Pick 3 and answer. No, these are very nice questions.
Gani na kauzito, then you avoid. So I read.
I read it out loud and then you answer it.
Oh, okay. How would you like to be remembered? as a scent. I sniff and be like, Likarion. How would I like to be remembered? I would like to be remembered as a pioneer.
As a pioneer.
A first of many, and someone who pushed the boundaries. And I don't necessarily have to be remembered as a nice person. I want to be remembered by my art.
If you're lucky.
Okay, hii inakaa interesting. Kunjwa kama origami. Hai ni monolog. Oyo. If you had a superpower, what would it be and why? Can I mash up too?
Mash it up.
Invisibility and intangibility. I want to go through walls and no one sees. I want to be in spaces and watch people, because everyone is a performer. I knew you were going to say that, and everyone calls me a pervert because of that. But here's my reasoning.
Okay.
Here's my reasoning. Everyone is a performer. Everyone performs in front of everyone.
Okay.
But who are you when the doors are closed? That's what I want to find out. I want to see how people talk when they're not in public. Yeah. I want to see how people laugh when they're with their loved ones or with someone. I want to be there for the arguments, because that's the whole point of directing.
Okay.
To observe life and then copy it for the audiences to understand.
Okay.
But we never observe life. We only observe life from our own personal me, the relationship I have with my sister. I want to know the relationship with other people and their sisters.
Yes.
So if I can be just a creep in the court, I promise when you remove your clothes, I'll close my eyes. But remember the intangible. Just I won't look when you change or when you shower. Sometimes. But I just want to observe. Okay, this one has been staring at me. Yo. What's the one thing you wish people knew about you? This one, people will not believe. But I am an introvert. I hear the laughter. I can hear it from now. But yeah, I am an introvert.
Yeah.
Again, when I said everyone puts on a mask, I also have a mask.
Okay.
I really enjoy being by myself, processing my own thoughts in a corner.
Yeah.
But the job that I've been put in is people and interactions.
Yeah.
And so I get overwhelmed quite fast. And being an introvert means I don't know things like... I know small talk when I see it on film.
Yeah.
And I know how to direct people to get into there.
Yeah.
But me kwenda to talk to a girl across the bar.
Yeah.
What do I say? How? Why?
Yeah.
Who? Ni gani inakaa dangerous? Acha tuende bonus. I be short. Have you ever role played?
Ooh.
I have had someone laughing over there. I should have just kept quiet. Hey, na sweat. Tuite makeup kwanza. We stop the show ni Mega nifanye makeup cause analiniambia ikerere. Katoa machozi. Na sweat.
Well, thank you so much, guys. We've come to the end of our show today. See you next time. This has been Real Talk. I have been your host, Songo Edirango.